I have mentioned before, when it comes to the 2025 Colorado Buffaloes team, I am only going to get excited about certain things. And that is going to remain true this entire offseason because that is how I operate. And there's a couple of things that I've been looking forward to talking about and looking to see how things play out. And so what I want to do in this video is I wanted to talk about early recruiting because I think that as you work to build your team, all the little pieces are going to matter. Obviously, everybody should know by now that my Texas Longhorns, hook 'em, have the first ranked early recruiting signing day thing or whatever, right? And everyone's like, woo, and I'm like, that's cool. But the truth of the matter is that sounds good, everything's good, but players have to produce on the field. And so if I'm going to keep that same energy with the Texas Longhorns and their early recruiting, I have to keep that same energy when it comes to Colorado because Colorado is in year 3. And in year 3, I'm expecting changes and I'm expecting us to be better and I'm expecting us to be more stout in the trenches. And I am expecting certain things. So as I've said before, I am not on this channel to celebrate and clap my hands just because we have bodies. Having actual bodies is no longer good enough. We need to have people that can contribute and people that can make other people better. That is what I'm looking for. So I am going to talk about how I feel about the early signing day events that happen with Colorado on the other side of this video. And I'm going to list out the players that I think or that I'm excited to see make an impact on this team this year. So let me just get into this video. There's a couple of things that I'm thinking about when I do this. The first thing is Colorado finished with 39 sacks on that offensive line. All of you that were in my comment section that were trying to tell me how great this offensive line is, they finished with 39 sacks and they were tied for 123 in college football. Actually, if you actually do the math and based on how many yards got subtracted, they were all actually 125th in the nation in college football. There's 134 college football teams. So do not tell me that this offensive line was good last year because they were not good last year. It just is what it is. The other thing that wasn't good last year is we were not able to stop the run. We lost 2 games because we could not stop the run. And I've said this before, I'm going to continue to say it so that people can hear what I'm saying. I am only going to celebrate trenches and linebackers because I trust that Coach Prime is going to get secondary, skill players, all of those things. I trust that they're going to make those things happen. So if I trust that they're going to make things happen, the thing I am going to harp on this entire offseason is what we do in the trenches and linebackers because I think that that's the most important thing. I also want to throw in this little caveat here. The way that I look at talent and why I want to harp on the trenches being so important to me is I believe the closer you are to the ball, the more athletic you need to be because you're usually bigger. What does that mean? In the trenches, you're usually bigger than a receiver. You're usually bigger than a corner. You're usually bigger than a safety, right? You see what I'm saying here? So I like to see big guys in the trenches. Now, I don't want you to be big and sloppy. I need you to be big and be able to move. I want guys that are going to show up to the game with their shirts off in the cold and they're going to try to trick their mind out. And I want them to do crazy stuff. That's what I want. I want tough nose guys. I don't know if we got that on early signing day. Honestly, I don't know if any of these high school students are like that. But if you're asking me what I'm looking for, because I am looking for good trench play and linebackers, that is my standard. I'm not going to lower my standard. If you don't like that my standard is so high, I don't know what to tell you. Actually, I do know what to tell you. If you don't like that my standard is so high, I think you need to raise your standards. I want us to win games. I'm not going to sit back and act like everything is okay when I don't feel like everything is okay. I want us to win games and I'm going to stand on that and I'm not going to back off of that until I feel comfortable. Right now, I don't know what to tell you. As a Texas fan, I have watched how Steve Sarkisian has built this Texas team. He has built this Texas team from the inside out. Have we built this Texas team to beat Georgia? Well, apparently not. But I like where we are, and I would like to see Colorado do something similar in the trenches. And so if my expectation is for one day Colorado to be as good as Texas is in the trenches and at the linebacker position, I have to hope and pray for better athletes in the trenches, not just bodies, better athletes based on what I think and based on what I feel, because this is my channel and that is what I get to do. I am going to talk about a few people that I feel like I want to pay attention to, that I'm excited to see their development this year. The one thing to pay attention to is at the end of the 2024 recruiting for high school students, Colorado finished 22nd. As of right now, Colorado is 37 in early signing day recruits. As of right now, Colorado is 37th. I'm just saying that so that you understand what we're playing with here. I also want to say again, I am not a fan of Coach Prime not doing home visits. You will never convince me that it's okay that he doesn't do home visits. So I'm not a fan of that. So I just want to declare that I'm not a fan of that. And yes, I do think it impacts recruiting. I don't care if you don't believe me. I don't care what you think. I'm telling you what I think, because I'm going to keep the same energy as I move forward until he proves to me that him not doing home visits isn't a bad thing. Because right now, what we have, I'm not really that impressed. It just kind of is what it is. We have some players. They might turn out to be great. I'm not sure, but it is what it is at this point. I've also said the maximum amount of players that I want to see Colorado lose out of the transfer portal is 25 players. The reason why I'm saying that is because I need us to build a foundation. We have to build a foundation. The closer we get to 25, the more nervous I'm going to get, especially if the 25 are starters. I'm going to be concerned. The last thing I want to say here before I get into the players that I'm going to keep an eye out on, I am concerned that we have a freshman coming in to play quarterback, and we don't know what we're going to get from him because he is not Shedeur. We also don't know who's going to replace Travis. So we're losing Shedeur and we're losing Travis, and you all are expecting me to be okay with 14 early signees on early signing day. I don't think it's great. So I have concerns, and I'm allowed to be concerned. And if you are a fan and you are watching this and you are hoping that Coach Prime goes in the transfer portal and rebuilds a team when we just missed out on early signing day on a chance to get talent, I don't know what to tell you, but that is not what I would be putting all my eggs in the basket of, but it is what it is now, right? Like, we have to hope and we have to pray that we hit on a lot of these transfer portal guys, because the truth of the matter is we don't even have a lot of freshmen to choose from in regards to trying to hit on any of them. So I am a little bit concerned. The other thing that concerns me is I believe if the schedule that I've been looking at is correct, Colorado is going to start with Georgia Tech next year. If we're going to play Georgia Tech, the one thing I know about Georgia Tech is they are big in the trenches. If you don't know anything about Georgia Tech right now, whatever, I expect you to take some time and just do some research on who Georgia Tech is, what makes Georgia Tech good. Because if Colorado is going to play them the first game of the season, again, I need this offensive line to be figured out. I need the defensive line to be figured out. I need us to be able to stop the run. I'm just going to keep saying it so I can say it over and over and over. And maybe at some point somebody will hear me say it and they will say, oh my gosh, what she's saying makes a lot of sense. So if we're going to play Georgia Tech game 1, I need us to be ready to go for the battle of the trenches, because we are not going to be able to keep winning without winning the battle of the trenches based on the people that we are losing this year. I'm going to talk about the 3 guys. I think I have 3.5 guys that I am excited to see play. The truth of the matter is I don't know if they're going to make an impact. How I made this decision is I honestly went and looked at the other teams that were recruiting them. And so in my opinion, if you have other big schools recruiting you and you picked to go to Colorado, that accounts for something. So here are the guys that I think are going to hopefully make some type of impact on this team. I don't know how big of an impact, but hopefully they make some impact so that we can be on the positive swing of this. First person I have is Chauncey Gooden. I don't know if I'm saying his name correctly, but he is 320, 6'4", and it looks like he plays on the interior offensive line. I'm one of those people that thinks that we need to get better at our guard position. And so I like his measurables. I liked the other places he was being recruited for, so I'm going to say his name here. The other person I'm excited about is Carty Smith. Again, like his measurables, 293, 6'5", offensive tackle, committed. Yes, these are early signees, which means they're coming out of high school, but I honestly don't care. Big bodies, big bodies, big bodies. We need them. So I am excited for this. The other person that I am excited to see, and I'm going to be honest, I kind of went back and forth between Christian Hudson and London Merritt. They're both edges. One is 6'1", one is 6'2", but the problem is one is 280 and one is 250. I'm going to be honest and say something here. I don't want an edge that's 250 pounds. I need you to be bigger. And so that makes me nervous. So I need bigger edges. I need us to be bigger. I need us to be taller. I need us to be faster. I need us to be more physical and I need us to be able to make tackles. That is where I'm at with this. So these are the 3 guys that I'm like, okay, hopefully they can give us something. There's only 3 guys that stood out to me on this list when I was looking at the trenches. That is a problem, but I'm going to let it go, and I'm going to assume that Colorado has a plan, and I'm going to assume that their plan is to attack the transfer portal with players who actually have experience from playing in games, and hopefully they will come in and make an impact, because I am concerned. And until I'm not concerned, I'm not going to lie to you and come on camera and say everything's going to be okay, because right now, today, I'm not sure how everything's going to turn out, and I am concerned, and I will continue to say I'm concerned until I'm not concerned. So if I can be concerned about Texas matching up and beating Georgia, I can also be concerned about Colorado building their team. I can do whatever I want to do, and I'm going to keep the same energy throughout all of these teams, and that's why this matters to me. And that is why, honestly, I'm happy that I have Texas, so I can say, listen, I'm judging them too. I'm judging them on a different scale than I'm judging Colorado, but I'm judging all of these programs because I need them to win games. I, as a fan, want to see my team win games, and that is what I'm going to hold them accountable to. Win games, getting better. And part of winning games and getting better starts with recruiting on all phases, transfer portal and early signing and later signing, all of the things. All of these things matter. So I'm going to hold them to the standard that I think they should be set at. And that is what I'm going to do. As always, let me know what you think in the comment section below. I have a lot of thoughts. I could go round and round about this, but I'm not going to. The transfer portal is just getting open. We're going to see what happens. We're going to see how this roster shapes out, and we're going to see who jumps in the portal. And there's nothing more I can say about it other than I'm watching it. I'm paying attention, and I expect them to be better than they were last year. If you want to be better than you were last year, you have to get better talent than you got last year. And right now, I don't know what to say, but I want to see the better talent start to roll in because I have some concerns and I hope that I am overreacting. So let me know what you think in the comments below. I'll see you in my next video.